is back into it in Chester. Here's El Senior. Yes! Yes!
The center back, Jacob Glesnes, is going for it.
Oh my God! What a goal! And that will do it! One of the best comebacks in recent years. 3 unanswered by the Union. And they go into the Gold Cup break, winning it 3.
Hello, welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. Well, I just can't help thinking about last night's game, just imagining what the stadium would have been like if we were all there. I mean, it was a beautiful night of soccer in the low 70s, no humidity. The reporters were saying, there was a slight breeze coming off the Delaware River. It just seems like it would have been a perfect night for all of us in the stadium. The Union are a top 3 team in all of MLS and everything. You can put whatever team you want to put up there. We'll say they're definitely a top 3 team. I know you can say Columbus is up there, you can say Seattle, but we'll say the Union are definitely a top 3 team in all of MLS, not just the East, all of MLS. But, it just, the Union, just with how well they've been playing, that stadium would have been packed. Anthony Fontana has been given very little opportunities this year by Jim Curtin, but when given the opportunity, he takes it. He makes the most of it, in my opinion. And then you add in a game-winning goal down in the river end. Yeah, that place would have erupted. That would have been a game where everybody would have been leaving the stadium with no voice. And I know I'm reading people on Twitter and everything last night, especially you, Adam Booth. He was like, yep, I have no voice. Yep. And the crazy thing is, man, Adam, you weren't leading the whole river end in chants and everything. You were there with, 25, 30 people outside of the stadium watching the game and everything. And it's like, yeah, man, if you would have been, if we all would have been in the river end, yeah, your voice probably would have went as soon as Anthony scored his first goal. So it sucks, that we can't be at the stadium experiencing these moments with the team and everything. But, at least, if you're able to, people going to the stadium, socially distancing, watching the game and everything, just, making the most of it with all the other Union fans going down there. Or, there's a lot of us watching the games from home and everything and still cheering on the boys in blue just as much as we would if we were in the stadium and everything. So it's great to see the Union just playing very, very, very good soccer. And hopefully, we'll be able to be in the stadium to experience this with them sooner than later. But, we've got a crazy packed schedule and everything episode where we have a lot of news to talk about, which I was not really expecting and everything. But, there is a lot to get you guys caught up with and everything. There's a lot to be said for that game last night. Blunder of the week should be interesting. And, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on Twitter and everything for Blunder of the week. I'm sure once I give it, a lot of you guys have had similar stories and everything. But, let's just get straight into the news because that's enough for me rambling. So here we go. So the first bit of news I want to talk about is, I talked about this, 2 episodes ago, maybe 3 episodes ago, that there was reports that Inter Miami were interested in signing Gonzalo Higuain. Well, it is official now that Gonzalo Higuain has signed a contract with Inter Miami until December of 2022, according to reports on MLS's website. He has a base salary of $7 million with a ton of bonuses and everything. And, there's a guy, I talked about, like I said, 2-3 episodes ago. This is a decent player and everything, He wasn't at his best with Chelsea when he went on loan there. He hasn't been at his best when he's been with Juventus and everything. So it makes sense, why Juventus would let a 32-year-old striker go and everything. It's just he doesn't fit in the plans and everything. And I know there's reports out there that Juventus are wanting to get young and everything. And with Gonzalo Higuain being 32, it just makes sense. This isn't a guy that Pirlo wants over there and everything. There's a guy who just seems like an MLS player for me. His brother plays over here with DC United and has been playing over here for a while with Columbus and everything. And I'm not surprised to see that Gonzalo said, my brother's been over there for years and everything. I've done well in Europe for a long, long time now and everything. And I'm honestly not going to get the chances anymore over here in Europe. So instead of going to Argentina, let me go and still make a very, very, very good salary down in Miami, where the weather is always warm and everything. And David Beckham's here and everything. They seem like they have a good project going on and everything. Now let's see if I can be the savior that this club has needed in the goal scoring department for the longest time. So if you're into Miami fan, which again, you guys listen to this podcast, you guys for the most part aren't going to be anything but Philadelphia Union fans and everything. So, this is one of these guys, a couple years ago, we'd say, oh, this is the retirement league. This is the retirement league. But we don't really get too many of these old players coming over to MLS anymore. Yeah, we still get them and everything, but yeah, not at the rate I feel like we were getting them before, where now people are slowly but surely taking MLS as, oh, look, they're producing talent. And a majority of that's because of Alphonso Davies, what he did with Bayern Munich this year. But, if Mark McKenzie, Brendan Aronson, whenever they get sold over, if they do well, maybe that changes the whole perspective of MLS and everything. And I'm not saying, oh, nope, it's all on these two guys. If they don't play well in Europe and everything, then MLS will forever be a retirement league. It's over. They're not going to be a selling league. Nobody's going to take them serious. So I don't want to put the pressure on Mark McKenzie and Brendan Aronson saying, yeah, if they don't do well in Europe, then MLS is just forever a retirement league. It's not just on those guys. Other teams got to step up too. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Gonzalo Higuain. But moving on to news point number 2, Portland Timbers, they announced that Sebastián Blanco will miss the remainder of the season after results showed that he has a torn ACL in his right knee. And again, with all these games just coming thick and fast and everything, I'm a little bit surprised, that we're not seeing a lot more muscle injuries in MLS. I know I said last week or 2 weeks ago that Michael Bradley is going to be out for a while and everything with a leg injury. We're seeing Kai Wagner miss multiple games now with a leg injury. We're seeing Sergio Santos, last game he pulled his hamstring and everything. He'll probably miss multiple games. But I'm just surprised, or maybe I haven't seen it and everything, that we're not seeing that people are really doing serious damage to their knees, their legs and everything. Because let's face it, we know the schedule is crazy for MLS. We know that they're trying to get in as many games as they can and everything. But, to the credit of all the players in the league and everything, they're doing a good job, keeping themselves in shape, keeping themselves healthy, and just, these ACL injuries, they're freak injuries and everything, or, Sergio Santos pulling his hamstring, it's freak things and everything, but with the amount of games and the less recovery time that teams have had, I'm surprised that we're not seeing more major injuries like Sebastián Blanco has suffered. And I know down in DC, most of their starting 11's hurt out for the season with some major injuries and everything. But other than, a couple players here and there, it's not been too many players that are done for the season and everything, which is good for those teams and everything, good for the league, because that means that we'll still get entertaining soccer. But yeah, until the season's over, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more and more injuries occur and everything. But let's go ahead to point number 3, which focuses more on Philadelphia Union. So on September 8th, the Union were linked with Argentinian centerback Nicolás Demartini, but it's being reported by people in Argentina that Nicolás expressed his desire to move to Argentine club Independiente. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrect, but this is a player which, it took me a lot to try to find things on him and everything. He's of age of 20 years old, so he's still he's still very, very young. He's a left-footed center back. He currently plays for a second division club, Temperley. He started 42 out of the last 43 games for Temperley. And the thing that I find so interesting about this is, even though he's playing in a second division club, I believe last year he was playing in the first division, but his team got relegated. Being so young at 20 years old, he's been playing for Argentina's U23s, and that's a very, very promising player and everything. But it looks like Nicolás more than likely is going to stay in Argentina just with a better club and everything. And, he impresses well there. Maybe 2 more years and he'll be off to Europe and everything, which, let's face it, if the Union were going to sign this guy, he, being of the age of 20 years old, he wouldn't have been here for 3+ years, I don't think. Because when a player is that young and everything, who's already playing for his national team's under 23s at the age of 20, yeah, there's serious potential in that kid and everything. So Argentina, South America in general, they produce a lot of talent down there. And we're seeing it with El Brujo this year. Nobody knows anything about the Venezuelan league. And El Brujo has been a very, very pleasant surprise for us and everything. And the Union, they don't do too much business down in South America. And so I was surprised to see that Nicolás was linked with the club and everything. But, there's, if we don't get this guy and everything, there's still plenty of players out there and everything that I trust Ernst Tanner will have a good understanding. Yeah, this guy's going to fit in good with the Union and everything. And yeah, I know there's still talks of people saying, oh, well, Orvats was a terrible signing and everything. This guy can't even get into the team and everything. Didn't play well. I read reports when he went on loan with Slovakia for international duty and everything. Didn't play well as a center back. But, this is just, I'm sure, just a crazy year for a player like him. Like I've said multiple times, coming from Slovakia and everything, leaving his family behind and everything, only coming over here with his girlfriend, being such a young kid and everything, never leaving Europe before and everything. And expectations were that he was going to start ahead of El Brujo, and it's not been the case and everything. And to get his mind right, get sent over to Slovakia where, he's used to playing and everything. And hopefully that would turn around just how slow of a start he's had for the Union. And like I said, didn't play well apparently over with the national team. And now he comes back to the Union, and Jim Curtin did say, if I can, he's a player that would be getting minutes right now with Union too. He needs the minutes and everything, and we just need to get him adjusted to playing over here in America. We need to get him comfortable and everything. And this is a guy that, I've not given up hopes and everything, even though some people on social media are like, yep, Ernst, this is your signing that you got wrong and everything. So now I completely trust what Ernst is doing. And if Nicolás, like I said, his desire is to stay in Argentina, then so be it. I know Ernst probably has a short list of so many other center backs and everything around Europe, South America, or wherever that he believes can replace Mark McKenzie once we sell him. But I want to go on to point number 3 again. Staying with the Philadelphia Union. In case you missed it, MLS announced that the Union's next 3 games will be Sunday, September 20th, away against Montreal. Game number 2 will be Wednesday, September 23rd, away at Cincinnati. And then finally, the Union finally get another home game, the 4th of the season, which is so crazy that they've spent most of the time on the road compared to some teams where it's split in half and everything. Well, September 27th, which is a Sunday, they will be playing into Miami. And, this, when games come thick and fast like this and everything, it is really, really hard to try to give you guys the content that you deserve and everything. And I'm going to try my best for each 3 of those games to get a preview episode in and to get a review episode in and everything, because, you guys deserve it and everything. I love bringing you on, like you guys have seen the last 2 episodes. I love bringing you on guests and everything, especially play-by-play guys for that team and everything. I think they gave great insights for whatever team they call games for and everything. So going to try to get people on that call games for Montreal, Cincinnati, and Miami. But again, with these games just being so close to each other and everything, it is a little bit of a struggle and everything. That's 3 games there in 7 days, which is insane. And it goes back to me talking about injuries and everything. When you have this many games this close together, injuries are going to happen and everything. So hopefully it doesn't happen and everything. But, this is just MLS trying to get in as many games as they can. It's going to be a crazy schedule. But let me go ahead and get to the last 2 points and everything. So staying with injuries, Lucas Zelarayan and Darlington Nagbe are out with minor injuries and will be back in the next several weeks, according to Jacob Myers of the Columbia Dispatch. I didn't look too much into this, what the injuries are. Maybe Caleb Porter hasn't announced exactly what the injuries are and everything, so maybe I should have done a little bit better in that department to find out what the injuries are. But as we know, like we saw for Columbus, there's 2 of their key guys and everything, and their most recent result against Chicago was a draw, 2-2. And, losing 2 key guys like that, this is now room for the Union to pick apart, if Columbus have a little bit of a fall. If they go on a little bit of a streak of drawing consecutive games, then the Union can stay in form like they have been, stockpile wins and everything. This would move the Union up to first place, and potentially, it would just move the Union in first place for the that's not let's not put that high of expectations, even though I've said the Union were a top 3 team in MLS. So, I mean, it's possible, that the Union could be a top 3 team right now in MLS. Could be the best team in MLS, but yeah, I don't want to put too much high expectations and everything, because as things stand, though, they are in second place. I know by the time you guys listen to this episode, Seattle would have played, but right now when I'm recording, I don't know what the result is. So I don't know. I mean, for MLS to come away with the Shield, it's not out of question, I guess. But, I don't want to put those expectations on them this early on and everything. But again, that's 2 big players for Columbus to miss for several weeks. Apparently they're not major injuries. But, for any team, you hate to lose main players. You just hate to see injuries in general. So hopefully the Union can take advantage of Columbus if they do have a little bit of a fall, because they're missing these 2 key players. And the last thing I want to bring up real quick is, so in case you missed it, September 8th, MLS announced that MLS Next is going to be becoming a thing. And if you're wondering what MLS Next is, it's the new elite youth development platform promising to set new standards for world-class player development in North America, created by MLS in collaboration with the top elite youth academies around the country, 489 teams across 113 clubs, and 6 age groups, together charting the course for a new future for the sport. And their 6 age groups will be U13, U14, U15, U16, U17, and U19. I think this is great and everything. It's going to cut down on air travel. It's going to cut down on overnight trips and everything, because I know growing up, just a lot of friends of mine played club soccer for top clubs in Maryland and everything. These guys were constantly going on tournaments down in Florida, down in Bradenton, I think it was, or down at the Worldwide Arena Sports Center down in Disney. And I know I completely botched that name. Sorry, Matt Gandazik. I'll get it better next time. But, I think this is just great. You have local rivalries get more coverage, I would think, and everything. Games will be played on neutral sites. I just, what isn't there to love about this and everything? And, if this can help get players into MLS teams and everything, then I think this is going to be great for the sport and everything. But again, we know soccer in America is far behind compared to the rest of the world and everything. But if this is one small step to getting it in the right direction, then, hey, you know what? I'm all here for it and everything. And I applaud MLS for coming out with this and everything. And hopefully we see just more teams, more academies producing top-notch quality of soccer and everything. But there's the news for the week to get you guys caught up and everything. So let's go ahead and talk about the Philadelphia Union versus the New England Revolution, which we all know that game ended 2-1 for the Union. And first off, before I talk about the Union and all that, I just want to say Brad Feldman was completely right when he said New England is a different team from the one the Union saw last time. He talked about the differences that Tommy McNamara and Lee Nguyen would make, and he was right. McNamara was good all night, constantly winning the ball back for New England. He completed 29 out of his 33 passes. New England, they were unlucky to lose a man because Polster and Rowe were playing well at controlling things in the middle for New England. I thought they took Brendan Aronson out of the game for the most part. Rowe probably should have scored his chance, but instead he tried to get too cute with it, try to place a shot. And there's no denying that the Union got lazy at times once they were up a goal, and then they conceded, and it could have been avoided, but just major credit for the Union for not playing with their heads down, because I talk about it all the time on the podcast. If you guys listen every single week, you guys see it too. I know it. I see people talk about it on social media. I was a little worried that the Union just wouldn't be able to break down New England when we went a man up, because we knew New England would park the bus, they would sit deep, and we know when teams do that, the Union have a really hard time of breaking them down. But credit to Anthony Fontana for finding space, for getting himself in a great position to score. Look, I believe as soon as Fontana got subbed on, I think he had a shot. I think his first touch of the night was a shot. You could just tell that the moment he came onto the field, he was going to make something happen, whether that was an assist, whether that was to win the ball back, to set up an assist, to lead to a goal, to score a goal itself, which we all know he scored a brace, which I'll get to that in a minute and everything. But, we've barely seen Fontana all year. And when he gets subbed on, like I said earlier, it's only for a few minutes left, not enough time to make much happen, but he's always giving his all and everything, and he's always looking to attack. And last night, he gets 25 minutes, scores a brace, and just what a shot. He dinks the ball over past Matt Turner and everything. I know he doesn't chip him and everything. He dinks it to his left and everything, and Casper, I was like, oh man, Casper, this is a great ball to you and everything, and Casper, I guess, gets a deflection or something and falls to Fontana. I'm like, there we go. Fontana in the right place at the right time. Hopefully, this leads to Jim Curtin giving him more playing time and everything. And then, we blow it. We blow the 1-1 lead. And I thought we would have had a lot more chances to go on the counterattack because we knew, even though we were man up, and as soon as we went up 1-0, that Bruce Arena wasn't going to be okay with losing this game 1-0. We knew he was going to send people forward, and we saw it with substitutions of Bo and Buchanan and everything. And boy, did they ever make the difference and everything. And like I said, that goal could have been avoided and everything. But, credit to the Union for just staying in the game all night and everything. Fontana coming up with a great shot to win it. Like I said, we all would have went wild in the river end and everything. But, man, just super excited for Anthony Fontana to score 2 goals. This guy has a knack of scoring goals against New England, as we all know. On his debut in 2018, he scored in his first game for the Union against New England. So maybe let's see New England a little bit more. No, please no. Man, this game is such a tight competition, and that's just a credit to New England, just how well, like I said, with Brad Feldman, how well Bruce Arena has these guys playing defensively. And lucky that, New England just did a poor job of clearing the ball, and Fontana was there, set himself up beautifully, and man, just what a rocket of a shot past Matt Turner. But anyway, I thought with the Union missing guys to injuries, to having a short bench, they handled this game the best way they possibly could. McKenzie and Glesnes were both great in the air. They were both good at breaking up New England's attacks, great at playing long balls from the back. Just a really solid performance from those two. And Mbaizo was strong on the field. The only problem I had with him, which again, I'm sure a lot of you guys would probably agree, I think he's probably the most right-footed on the Union team. When he needed to cross with his left, he'd always cut it back and pass with his right because he wasn't feeling confident, I guess, crossing with his left. But defensively, he's really, really solid, loves putting in a tackle. And he also played in a great ball in the second minute, I think, to Andrew Wooten. And Wooten probably should have scored that. He definitely should have scored that goal and everything. But, there's... you miss all the opportunities you don't take. So, at least Andrew knew to shoot and everything as opposed to taking a couple of touches and everything. And I don't want to talk about Andrew Wooten too much and everything. I've talked about it, I feel like, a little bit too much the last couple of episodes. He is what he is and everything. I know as a striker, it's your job to get goals and everything, but he is what he is and everything. I think he is an MLS player. I think he does have something to offer to this team. But is he a starter? Probably not. But again, this team probably isn't built around Andrew Wooten and Kasper Schubelko starting every single week and everything. So, the jury's out for some people on Andrew Wooten, but I still believe in him for the time being, I guess. But just not only Mbaizo, I think Ray Gaddis was just really solid all night. Look, Ray Gaddis gets a lot of stick. We all know this and everything, and he deserves so much praise for winning the corner kick that led to the game-winning goal. Ale Bedoya played a great ball down the line for Ray to just chase onto, and Ray gave it his best. I wasn't sure if Ray was going to get to the ball. I wasn't even sure if he was able to get a cross in, and tries to send in a cross and everything, gets blocked out for a corner kick and everything, and that's just pure hustle and determination and everything. And that's one thing nobody can take away from Ray Gaddis, that his determination, his hustle, he gives every single game and everything. And he's not the best player going for it, but, he always leaves it all out on the field. And I'll take a player that gives that all the time than a player that has occasional moments that's a huge superstar like Zlatan. So I love me some Ray Gaddis and everything, even though, gets a lot of stick and everything. And no, I'm not comparing Ray Gaddis to Zlatan. even though I guess it is what it sounded like I was doing, but I'm not comparing Ray Gaddis to Zlatan, so. But again, just Casper, he probably should have finished his chance, and we've said that a couple times this season, He's got himself in good positions, but it's just not able to finish all the time and everything. But again, Casper, he's showing that he can score and everything, so I'm not concerned at all. Rowe, he got a great block in on Aronson's shot. Just overall, just with the small bench, with all the injuries the Union had, just really, really, really happy that they were able to grind out somehow, some way, and get all 3 points. And let me go ahead and move on to only 2 good points, because I think I had a lot of good things right there in that, just my overall thoughts and everything. But first off, look, El Brujo, yeah, we all know he didn't have his greatest game last night. He turned the ball over way too many times last night. But you cannot get angry at this guy. You can't be mad at him, because this guy is always, and I mean always, throwing it all on the line for this team. Remember him being so bloody against LAFC and everything. And then we see him take a rocket of a shot to his nuts. Like, man, this guy, yeah, I don't know how he was able to get up to carry on after that and everything. Like, I mean, this guy just bleeds Philly and everything, and I'm so happy we have a guy like this. Yeah, he missed 5 out of 6 of his tackles last night, but this dude's energy, it's just something else, man. This is something we haven't seen from the number 6 position in a very long time. He's always hustling back on defense when he sees that the opposition has numbers. He's always looking to start a counterattack. We say it all the time when I have guests on here that his passing surprises everybody. Nobody knew that he would be this good at passing. It's just, how can you not love El Brujo? I thought Jim's sub choices were excellent and everything. Again, it's been the theme of most of this podcast where I've been talking about, we haven't had any options coming off the bench and everything. It's been all homegrown guys, plus Mishi Galina and Joe Bendick, but you're not just subbing in a goalkeeper as one of your 5 subs. And it's, Matt Real and Anthony Fontana, it makes sense why they came on before Jack DeVries or somebody like Cole Turner or Galina, because Fontana and Real, they both have experience playing in MLS and everything, and both of these guys, when they came on, they made a difference. I thought, Anthony Fontana, maybe they'd switch to the 4-2-3-1 when Fontana came on, but instead, no, Jim stays with a 4-4-2, puts Fontana up there with Casper and everything, and man, this guy was hungry for a goal. We all saw it. Like I said, I think his first touch was a shot at goal. Matt Real, we needed to get a left-footed guy out there on the left so we could attack more down the left. But yeah, just really great sub choices by Jim Curtin. And I know he didn't have much, so it's like, how can you give him credit for not having much on the bench? But, it was the right decision subbing in Matt Real, Anthony Fontana when he did. And just sticking with that 4-4-2, because we were creating chances and everything. We weren't finishing them, but we were creating them, and eventually it did pay off and everything. And I know when he brought in Jack DeVries, that's when they did switch to a 4-2-3-1, but super duper happy for the Union just to get 3 points and everything. And I have 2 bad things to give. So first, I'll give one that I want to get out of the way real quick, which is I again, wanted to see them attack down the left side of the field more, and that's why they brought in Matt Real in the 65th minute. I feel like they had so much space over there throughout the whole game, but they didn't use much of it, and maybe that's because New England knew Mbaizo wasn't going to cross with his left. Maybe they knew that he wasn't feeling confident with his left, and they noticed, every time this guy's getting space, he could come and attack us. He's always cutting it back to Jameer, passing it back to Glesnes and everything. But that's not a knock on Mbaizo. We all know he's a natural right-footed player and everything, but he's making the most playing as a left back, I think, in the last 3 games and everything. So that's my only thing I can complain about. And then my other bad point is nothing to do with the Union at all. It's just the ref, in my opinion, he gave out way too many cards. He was card happy. He gave out 7 yellow cards. And real quick for you guys, I want to play Ale Bedoya's press conference from last night, giving his thoughts on the referee, giving out too many yellow cards, just having to change your approach when a referee is so card happy, and I want you guys to hear his reaction to Jose Martinez picking up his 5th yellow card. So here's Ale's interview after the game.
Yeah, well, I knew Jose definitely wasn't going to last the 5 games to not get a yellow. But yeah, you have to just be careful a bit. I think when I picked up my yellow today, you saw me pull up. I think a couple of tackles in the middle of the field, where normally I would kind of grab a guy, pull him back a bit, or stick a leg out. I had to be wary of that. But yeah, I thought the ref was a little bit quick to pull out the yellow cards, in a couple of those fouls on both sides.
Oh, look,
But you have to see, you see it coming. You know how the game is being played. So you have to be very careful. And I think going forward, depending on the ref you get, or you already know how it's going to be played out the moment he gives out that first yellow. So. It definitely changes the way you approach every kind of situation, when you even go try to win the ball, or you just have to pull out and pull back. So it makes you a little bit more conservative.
So yeah, it sucks that El Brujo is going to miss the game against Montreal and everything. But like Ali said, he was picking up way too many yellow cards, way too fast and everything. And it was only a matter of time before he got another yellow card. So yeah, it sucks and everything. But I think he's right, when a referee is just the first challenge, it seems like that you make, oh, here's a yellow card, Polster was dumb and everything for fouling El Brujo when the Union were trying to go on the counterattack. There was no need for that, which led to his red card and everything. But, his first yellow card, that's debatable. Would you have given him a yellow card? Would you have not? I don't know. But I guess to the ref's credit, he was consistent with yellow cards. It seemed like as soon as a Union player made a tackle, oh, here's a yellow card, or as soon as New England fouled, oh, yep, here's a yellow card for you. And I know the Union had 5 yellow cards compared to New England's 2 and everything. But yeah, Ali's right. When you have refs like this, you've definitely got to be conservative and you got to change your approach and everything. We know Ale Bedoya, we know Jamil Montero, we know El Brujo. These guys, they're not afraid to make a challenge. That's the way that they play and everything. And I love when a midfielder is just not afraid to go in there and challenge and get the ball and everything. So, yeah, my bad's going to the referee just for being way too card happy. But let's go ahead and go on to Blunder of the Week. So I've got 2 blunders to give this week, and I think that's probably my first time ever in a year of doing Blunder of the Week. So here we go. First up, this all has to do with the same thing, the same game. So over the weekend, I went to a rec soccer game, and during the match, I had a little chuckle. Probably got looks by people, but do I care? No, not really. So first, my blunder of the week is going to go to the referees of this ref soccer game. They had absolutely no clue what some of the rules were when teams could or could not sub. Now, I'm pretty sure you have to take some kind of class in order to be a ref for any sport, because then you get your ref badge and then you put that badge on your shirt to make it look like you're official. It says, oh, look, I did this class. I know the rules of the game. So at halftime, the run referee goes over to one of the team's coaches and says, hey, man, sorry I can't let you sub in situations like that. I wasn't sure of the rules, so I looked it up on my phone at halftime. And that's just that's not a great look. How can you be a referee and not know of the rules of soccer? Like, I get it. There's a lot of rules and everything, and rec rules are different than soccer rules of a professional game and everything. But at the same time, like, you completed a class so you could ref games, and you don't know the rules. Yeah, that's not a good look at all, in my opinion. And so my second blunder of the week is going to go to the coaches of one of the team I watched yesterday. So like I said, this is doing the same game and everything. And I was listening to the coach talk to the kids, telling them incorrect terms for positioning, asking the ref when they can and can't sub. And this is probably when I got dirty looks when I said, no, you can't sub when your own team is kicking the ball out. But look, I get it. It's rec soccer. It's a volunteer position, and I'm all for people investing their time into kids, giving back to the kids. But just because it's rec soccer, it doesn't mean you shouldn't learn the rules of the game. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn the correct positions, the correct terms. Your job as a coach is to teach them the right information. At least that's what I would want if I was a parent paying my money for a sport that my kid's playing. You know, I would want them to get the right terminology, get the right information. So, yeah, the ref and the coaching and everything for this rec soccer game and everything. And like I said, I'm sure a lot of you guys growing up, or maybe you have kids playing rec soccer and everything, a lot of you guys have probably experienced something similar too. It's just, yeah, it's like, it's not professional. I get it and everything. Everybody makes mistakes. But at the same time, like, you want these kids to learn something. You don't want to teach them incorrect information and everything. So it's like, if you're going to volunteer and everything, if you're going to do something, at least learn what it is that you're doing. So there's my 2 blunder of the weeks. Hopefully you guys didn't think that was too harsh. I don't think it was, but again, I could be wrong. But hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. It's weird, you know, the last couple episodes I've had a guest on, either previewing or reviewing these games. So yeah, a little bit weird, you know, doing this game by myself and everything, talking about it, but I don't mind it at all. Most of the episodes, you guys know, it's been just my voice and everything. So if you guys aren't following the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, follow at Free Kick Pod. Check out the website, The Free Kick Podcast. Go ahead and wherever you get your podcast at, just search The Free Kick, Todd Lewis, and you'll find it. And if you guys, you know, I haven't done this in a while, you know, a lot of you guys have, but if you haven't, go ahead and give a 5-star review on iTunes and everything. In a couple of weeks, again, I'll be giving away something on the podcast. So for you guys that have entered into the competition back in, I think it was July and everything, where I was giving away that 2020 Philadelphia Union jersey, well, I'm going to be bringing something back. And all you guys that did those reviews know it wasn't for nothing and everything. And, you know, as long as you guys want to be back in the competition and everything, just whenever I make a tweet saying, oh, yep, this is what I'm giving away, just like that post. And, you know, I know everybody who left a review and everything, and, you know, more on that later and everything, more on that later. But yeah, just always appreciate you guys listening to these episodes, always giving back to me so I can give back to you. But until Montreal Impact, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.